This is just on the front row. We have got Australia, we've got New Zealand, we've got Little Brother versus Big Brother. Put your hands together, opening up the second segment of Your Hood's a Joke. Put your hands together. Harry Metcalfe. And representing New Zealand, put your hands together for Ruben VM. Now, Harry, you've dressed up in national dress. You've got the pedo moustache.
Yeah.
How do you feel repping Australia tonight?
I feel good. Yeah, guys, thanks for coming out. I feel good to be here. Looking forward to doing some New Zealand jokes. It's going to be fun. Yeah, but I will say if there are any New Zealand people in the audience, just a bit of a trigger warning. There might be some sheep jokes. But that's not giving you license to, get upset, okay? So just calm down. Like, I don't want to hear any, like, get my wife's name out of your fucking mouth, okay? Just relax, New Zealand people. Just calm down, okay?
And representing New Zealand, Ruben VM, how do you feel?
I'm pretty excited. I've been waiting for this for a long time.
Yeah?
Yeah, well, because, Australia is kind of considered to be New Zealand's big brother. And just like my big brother, Australia is a cunt. So, always taking credit for shit that I do, gives me no respect. So I'm going to work on a lot of stuff tonight. It's good for me.
Representing New Zealand, put your hands together for Ruben VM.
All right, everyone. It's a roast, so it's time to put another simp on the Barbie.
Come on.
Hey, Australia just elected a new Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese. He was just here in Japan, and he just left yesterday or the day before because he couldn't get a ticket to tonight. Fucking loser. Loser. So Australia is actually, some of the worst people in the world of all time come from Australia. Rupert Murdoch. Yeah, boo. Yeah. Mel Gibson. Seems like a dick. And a lot of people don't know this, but actually Hitler was born in Australia. Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But he wasn't racist enough, so he had to leave. Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
So first, do we get some nomenclature out of the way? New Zealanders in New Zealand, we are called Kiwis, and our First Nation people are called Māori. In Australia, you're called Aussies, and you call your First Nation people racial slurs. It's just a linguistic thing. It's funny, Australia doesn't actually have an official language, which makes sense. You're going to struggle in the second half of this battle. Australia has a habit of shortening words, right? So Australian becomes Aussie, afternoon becomes Arvo, Aborigine becomes...
I don't think you can say that.
No, I'm not going to say it.
Out loud.
Underprivileged is what I was going to say. They become underprivileged. It's a linguistic thing. So Australia also has the most crazy animals, and I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I'm going to do a little bit of a quiz for you guys. It's called Australian Animal or Ethnic Slur. It's a very fun game. The first question, I've got it in here. First question, woylie. Woylie, what do you think? Do you think it's an Australian animal? Woylie. Oh, Harry, would you do the honors? Read this in a...
Woylie.
So who thinks it's a Australian animal? Who thinks it's an ethnic slur? Well, actually, a woylie is a small marsupial with brown fur, so it clearly refers to Greek men. It's disgusting. Question number 2. Yabby. Yabby. What do you think? Australian animal? Yeah! How about ethnic slur? This is a trick question. This is actually a pejorative towards women. So, Australia's not all about ethnic slurs. They also do homophobic ones and all the slurs. It's also an animal, yes. Did you want to know why it's called a yabby? Why it's a pejorative towards women? It's a yabby. It's a freshwater crayfish. And it refers to a woman with a particularly large labia majora. So, your favorite country. There we go. Australia is also a foodie country. They have a big foodie culture. One of their specialties that you can only get there is bushmeat. His love for bushmeat is actually why Harry grew his moustache and moved to Japan.
That's not true.
So, it's
No,
fun.
I moved to Japan first, and then I grew the moustache because I wasn't getting any bushmeat.
It's good. Australia is actually one of the worst ecological disasters really in the world. You know, there's fires, there's coral bleaching, there's the koalas of chlamydia. How did that happen? And even worse, there's a big problem with invasive feral species, by which I mean white people. Too many of them. So actually, Australia pollutes a lot more per capita than most countries. There's 25 million Australians. It's not that many, but every single one of them is trash. So yeah. And so anyway, so Australia's a big country. It's a desert. Loud, annoying people. And I kind of realized they are the Southern Hemisphere version of Texas, just more racist. More racist. So I thought, and actually it's unsurprising that they have a thriving country music scene. So I thought I'd write a song about Australia. We got the most incredible nature. Look at that koala. Isn't he such a cute little fucker? And he's on fire. Australia, Australia, Australia. Australia, make a man out of ya. All the animals are trying to kill ya. Stingray killed the crocodile hunter. Good, he was a wanker. Australia, Australia, Australia. We've got the world's loveliest weather and the biggest fucking sharks in the water. But nothing will stop us enjoying the summer. And we got melanoma. And we're on fire. Australia, Australia, Australia. Everybody now! Australia. Well, thank you.
Big round of applause for Ruben VM. Harry, did you bring your didgeridoo?
Oh, I didn't. How can I get that song? That's beautiful. I want to listen to that.
Put your hands together, representing Australia, Harry Metcalfe.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Excellent. Yes, New Zealand. New Zealand. New Zealand. The land of the long-winded cunt. So people say that there's a rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. I don't know if that's much of a rivalry, really. That's like saying there's a rivalry between the United States and the North Pole. That's like saying there's a rivalry between Mike Tyson and that guy he decked on the plane. That's like saying there's a rivalry between this superstar child who just wins at everything and a stillborn fetus. Yeah. So New Zealand actually used to be part of Australia, but we had to kick you guys out on account of the whole sheep fucking thing. It's just, like we may be murderers and thieves, but, like we have to draw the line somewhere. To be honest, I don't know if you can blame New Zealand men for having sex with farm animals. They play so much rugby that they're that brain damaged. They don't even know what they're doing half the time. It's just, like take the haka. The haka. It's this intense display of it's like a wide-eyed grimace with this tongues wagging and tit slapping, and sorry, that's not the haka. That is New Zealand women trying to get a boyfriend. New Zealand women, New Zealand people, they're not that attractive. I'm sorry. Just look at celebrities. Like in Australia, we have Margot Robbie and Chris Hemsworth. Yeah. Yeah. In New Zealand, I don't know, their biggest sex symbols are Jacinda Ardern and Gollum. I mean, it's bad, actually, the singer Lorde, I don't know if you remember her. No one probably does, but she's from New Zealand, or Aotearoa. Which is the Maori name, which translates to land of the shrill white woman. That accent is terrible. I'm sorry. That accent is just rank. No one puts on a New Zealand accent to try to get laid. The New Zealand accent has been banned by the Human Rights Council in Guantanamo Bay. They're torture terrorists, but do it humanely. Somehow, though, New Zealand people are way more patriotic than Australians. There's a lot of patriotic New Zealand people. Why? What are you proud of? Seriously. And a lot of the time it's we're Lord of the Rings. Guys, Lord of the Rings. New Zealand is the home of Middle Earth. I mean, that's sad. That your best landmark is not even a real place. They have they're so obsessed with Lord of the Rings. They've got Lord of the Rings money. There's money. There's Lord of the Rings on their money. It's in their airports. It's even in there, I don't know if you guys saw this in-flight safety video that Air New Zealand used where they got Lord of the Rings involved. They're just obsessed with Lord of the Rings. And in fairness, I don't know if Air New Zealand could have done any better. They're going to get this guy?
I'm available.
I don't know. Welcome aboard your Air New Zealand flight. Your captain is Jonah Lomu. Just a reminder, smoking is strictly prohibited on this flight. Fuck off. I want to smoke now. That's horrible. But actually, a lot of people do end up going to New Zealand for traveling. A lot of people go there because they just want to get away from it all, Kind of like how an elephant will stray from its herd to go off into the middle of nowhere and die. And New Zealand is actually one of the premier countries for assisted suicide. like just going to New Zealand does assist your suicide. But yeah, I actually don't want to hang too much shit on Ruben because I'm not sure if you guys know this, but he was in New Zealand when they filmed Lord of the Rings, and due to his looks, they did cast him in the film. He was one of the elves from the Crystal Meth Mountains. But I'm not sure if Ruben should even be representing New Zealand. Like, you're Dutch, right?
I can be both.
Wow, okay. Like, Ruben is Dutch, and he doesn't even like rugby. Like, the only time he goes all black is when he puts on his Christmas makeup. Thank you, guys.
A big round of applause for Harry Metcalfe.